Practice test number 3. Getting ready for a test. All right, so here we go. So, part 1, we're going to do some simplifying here. So remember on these, even if you think they're hard, try something. All right, try something. So looking at the first one, what occurs to you when you look at this first problem? Okay, Eli, Courtney, turn your camera on, please. Leo, let me see your face, not the ceiling. Thank you. All right, nobody knows what to do here?
You can factor it.
The top factors. The top is the difference of squares. So it will factor how? This is the difference of squares, like a squared minus b squared. How will that factor?
3 plus sine x, 3 minus sine x?
Yep. And sine x plus 3 on the bottom, can't really do anything with that. Now, what do you notice though? Now that we have that numerator factor, the difference of squares, what do you notice?
You can cancel something.
Yeah, you can cancel this whole shebang. Remember, we don't cancel bits and pieces. We factor and then we cancel out entire quantities. So the answer is 3 minus sine. Be on the lookout for the difference of squares. So that could be 25, that could be 16, that could be 4, and it would factor in the same way. All right, this one is different than that. This is not the difference of squares. This is not going to factor. What do you think about this one? Who has an idea about this one? What?
Simplify.
What do you mean by simplify?
Like just break it down.
Okay, so tell me what that means. Tell me what to do.
Cosine becomes just cosine over 1.
Uh-huh, yep.
And then cotangent is just 1 over tangent. And then sine is just sine over 1.
Okay, let's go back to cotangent for a minute. Cotangent is 1 over tangent, but we hardly ever do that. What do we do instead with our cotangent?
Cosine over sine.
That's a better idea. Cosine over sine. And then, like you said, sine over 1. Now, be careful. These do not cancel. Why can't I cancel? There's a sign up here and a sign down here. Why can't I cancel those? Plus sign. You can't cancel unless it's a multiplication problem. Okay? So, what am I going to do? What does this equal? How could I rewrite this? Cosine squared over sine. That's what it is. Nothing cancels there. These are both on the top, so I just multiply them. What do I do with that?
You need to have a common denominator.
You absolutely do. Thank you. You need to have a common denominator. So if I look at this fraction being added to this fraction, the common denominator is going to be sine x, because this one is a sine x and this one is a 1, so the common denominator would just be sine x. Now, I multiplied top and bottom by sine x over here. Now they both have the same denominator. This one had it to start with, so it's cosine squared. Plus, this one now, I had to multiply the top and the bottom by sine, so it's sine squared. Does anyone recognize that?
It was 1.
That's 1. The top is 1. Don't say the answer sine. The answer is 1 over sine. And if you want, what's another way of writing 1 over sine? Anybody remember?
Cosecant.
Exactly. So if you want to look really smart, you're going to say cosecant. Okay, as you prepare for your tests, I would suggest maybe you work back through a couple of those. You know, just recopy them on another sheet of paper or try them again. Make sure you can follow all those steps. All right, now on to part 2, where we are solving the triangle. So in case you forgot what that means, there's all those answer blanks over there. You're going to fill them all in. So we need to know angle A, side B, and side C. Okay, what's your thought?
Subtract 180.
Yep, we can certainly find that first angle pretty easily. We know 2 of them already. We can find that one for sure. I got 80. Those are about the easiest points ever. All right. Now what?
Law of sines.
Law of sines. So which side are we going for, Eli? We're going to say sine 80 over 10 for sure. And what's that going to equal?
Sine B.
So sine 47 over B?
Over B. Yeah.
Now remember, you're going to have to do both of them anyway, so the order doesn't matter. We just need to pick one and get started. Once we set up our law of sines, sine 80 over 10, sine 47 over B, now we'll cross multiply. So B sine 80 equals 10 sine 47. Now B is your variable, so you're going to divide by sine 80. So we're going to type into our calculator 10 sine 47 divided by sine 80. So I hope you're all typing with me. I got 7.43. Does that sound right? Anybody match that? Thumbs up there. Good. Thank you. All right. Who knows what's next?
You have to solve for C.
You have to solve for C, and we're going to do that exactly the same way. We're going to go back to sine 80 over 10 and sine 53 over C. Does anyone have a question about that? Does that make sense to everyone? So we'll cross multiply. So C sine 80 equals 10 sine 53. There's our variable, so we'll divide by sine 80. we're going to make sure we're showing all of our work. So if by chance things go awry, we can get partial credit. I got 8.11 for side C. That look okay? Great. Super, super, super. Okay. Next page. Oh, we're solving another triangle. So we just got done solving a triangle, and basically we use the law of sines twice on that. Now we're going to solve another triangle. So we're basically going to do the same thing. Let's see, this is 42, 23. All right. So there we go. Solve the triangle. Find all the missing pieces. What's different about this one?
We have two sides and one angle.
Okay, and I don't have a pair. I don't have this match. I don't have this match, and I don't have this match. So when I don't have that match, that means what?
Law of cosine.
Yeah, I can't use the law of sines. That's right. It means I cannot use the law of sines. Courtney, please put your camera on, sweetheart. This is my third time asking. I need it on. Brooke, we need yours on too, please. All right, here we go. Law of sines will not work because I do not have a pair. So I'm going to have to do my law of cosines. All right, so who can set that up for me? What is that going to look like? The law of cosines. Well, the angle is going to be cosine 42. That's the only angle I've got, so that's out there. On this side, it's going to be d squared, because that's what side goes with the 42. And then everything in the middle is going to be 18 squared plus 23 squared minus 2 times 18 times 23. This is all multiplied here at the end. This is all multiplied. All right, does anyone have a question about that? Well, luckily, the variable is sitting over here all by itself, so I'll just type this in. 18 squared, I hope everybody's typing with me, plus 23 squared, minus 2 times 18 times 23 times cosine 42. Please don't forget, when you get all that typed in, you have to square root it. So second square root, second answer, and I got for D 15.42. Does anybody have a question about that? Okay. Well, where do we go from here? We aren't done. Please do not stop here. We got some more blanks to fill in. What should I do next?
Law of cosine, or law of sine.
Yep, now we can do the law of sines because
You
look
have
what...
a pair, you can do like the law of sine.
Exactly. Now we have the pair, so we can set up our law of sines. So, sine 42 over 15.42 equals sine F over 18. Does that make sense to everybody? So we'll cross multiply like we always do with the law of sines. And be careful this time because your variable is actually sine F. So when I divide, I'm going to be dividing by 15.42. Okay, is everybody still with me up to this point? Now, how do I type this in? That has to be typed in a little differently because that's your variable. So what do I type?
Second sign.
Yep, thank you. Second sign, 18 sine 42 divided by 15.42. And I got, let's see, that's F. I got 51.36 degrees for angle F. Now remember, you're filling in the blanks over there to the side, so we still have angle E left to figure out. What's the easiest way to get angle E?
Add it up and divide by 180.
Subtract from 180, yeah. Yeah, perfect. So I got 86.64. The angles of a triangle have to add up to 180. So once we know two of them, we can find the third one just by subtraction. All right, anybody have a question about that? Okay, the next set of problems are the ones that ask you how many triangles are possible. So we know that the answer is either going to be 0, 1, or 2. So let's look at the first one. Go ahead and put the second one on here too. We're going to figure out how many triangles are possible. All right, so let's look at problem number A. What's your idea? How are we going to get started on problem A here, the first one, the top one there? How are we going to get started on that?
Well, you have a pair, so you can do log signs.
Okay, so sine 58 over 6, that's my pair she's talking about. And then that equals sine C over 18. So we'll cross multiply. This looks a lot like the one we just finished. We'll cross multiply and divide by 6. Make sure you're all getting there. Everybody getting there? Yeah, what do I type into my calculator? It says sine C equals 18 sine 58 over 6. So what do I type in?
Second sign.
Bingo. I second sign this right here. It's second sign this fraction. And what happened?
There.
Yeah. So what does that mean?
No possible triangles.
Exactly. So the answer to A is 0. When we type this in, second sign, got a second sign it. When we did that, we got an error message. That means no triangles possible. Okay, so we move on to the next one, and we do exactly the same thing. So sine 62 over 19 equals sine C over 12. We do exactly the same procedure. Cross multiply. And there's our variable, so I'm going to divide by 19. And I'm going to type it in exactly the same way. Second sign, 12 sine 62, close parentheses, divided by 19. Tell me if you got an error this time or if you got an answer.
I got an answer.
What answer did you get?
I got 33.89.
Perfect.
And then
Perfect.
I subtracted that from 180.
All right, so yes, hang on a second. So everybody should have gotten 33.89 when you second signed this fraction right here. Now, when you get an answer, when you actually get an answer, not like this one that got error, but when you actually get an answer, then you redraw your triangle over to the side and you put in another angle C. So one angle is on your calculator, 33.89. And now we're going to see if there's another angle C. And we'll just subtract this from 180. So we get 146.11. Is that second answer possible?
No, because if you add it to 62, it's 208.
Exactly. So this second possibility isn't even possible. So therefore, how many triangles do I have? One. Just one. Because the second one turned out to not be possible. Does anyone have a question about any step of that? Well, good, because we have another one. Here we go, the last one. We're going to set up exactly the same situation. So sine 45 over 17 equals sine C over 19. We're setting it up exactly the same way. These three problems are all identical in terms of their setup. So cross multiply. And divide by 17. So then we're going to second sign 19 sine 45 over 17. Now, this is our third time, so I kind of buzzed through that one. Does anyone have a question about that? Haven't figured it out yet, but any question about the setup? All right. Type it in. Here we go. Second sign 19 sine 45, close parentheses, divided by 17. Whoops, I got an answer. 52.21. So what do I do as soon as I get an answer on my calculator? Remember, we're going to draw another triangle, just like the one we started with. And we're going to check if there's another angle C. So we're going to take the one on our calculator and subtract it from 180. And I got 127.79. And then I just ask myself, is it possible? Can I do that in a triangle? Can I have a 45 and a 127 in the same triangle? Is that a yes or a no? I see some nods. That's a yes. Yep, so that triangle is possible. For sure, it would look very weird, but it's a possible triangle. So this one has two solutions. Both angles work. The first angle will always work. You just have to check on that second one to see if it will also work. Okay? All right. Now we're on to the next part, which is area. And you're going to do 3 of these too, 3 area problems. This is what your test looks like. This could be a really easy test for you guys if you spend some time practicing. Here we go. We got 6, 9, and 7, and we want to find the area. What's your thought?
Hero's formula.
Yep, and Hero's formula, remember, is the one with the big radical. And there are 4 things under the radical. So what is the first thing we do when we decide we're going to use Hero's formula, which is how we're going to do it if we have all 3 sides? What's the first thing we do?
Gotta find the semi-perimeter.
Exactly, which is half the perimeter. So first I have to find the perimeter. So let's see, the perimeter would be, is that 22? Which means the semi-perimeter is 11. So that's our starting number, 11. Don't put the perimeter under here. Half the perimeter goes under here. Then we do half minus each side. Okay, so 11 minus each side. So 11 minus 6, 11 minus 7, 11 minus 9. And type it all in, and don't forget to hit square root. You need to square root all that. So I got 20.98. Is that what you got? Okay. Everybody good on that one? Take you awake? All right, here we go. Next one. Find area. What do you think about this one? We're finding the area of this triangle. Easy, 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 right? Because what do we have? We have 2 sides and the included angle. So what's our formula? Not Hero's formula, but the other one. How do we find area?
Isn't it 1/2 times 18 times 11 sine 41?
It is. The formula, if you want to call it that, is 1/2 side, sine of included angle. And the included angle is the one that's in between the sides. So 1/2, 18, 11, sine 41. No work, nothing. Just type it in. 1/2, 18, 11, sine 41, all times together. I got 64.95. These 2 problems are gimmies, folks. Hopefully you're awake and paying some attention here. Those are easy. Now the next one is not white is easy because what? What is wrong with this one? Why does that one cause me a little bit of heartburn?
We don't know one of the sides.
We don't have the right information. That's exactly right. In order to find the area using the two strategies we just went through, we either need to know all three sides, not even close, or we have to know two sides and the included angle. Now, we're close on that, but we really need another side. Wouldn't it be awesome if we had side M? Because then we could do 1/2 15M sine 58. How in the world are we going to find side M though? We're going to have to figure that out. How are we going to find it? Well, I hope you have found angle M by subtracting from 180. It's 55. And then I hope you notice that you have a pair here. So we can say sine 67 over 15 equals sine 55 over M. Now I chose to find M. I could have found side L, because then I would have two sides and the angle in between. Doesn't make any difference. I chose to find M. So, M sine 67 equals 15 sine 55. This is my variable, so I'll divide by sine 67. Do I need to second sign this when I type it in, or can I just straight type this one in?
You can just straight type it in.
Bingo, I only second sign when my variable is sine M. When my variable is a plain M, I just type it in. So 15 sine 55 divided by sine 67